How's it going, everybody? I want to get to the business side of things first, really fast. I apologize for not posting an episode last week. We had some things go on in my personal life that weren't super great. So they were terrible. I have some friends. They had their daughter a little bit before we had our daughter, and so she's the same age, and she was very early on in her life diagnosed with cancer in her brain, and it's clearly a difficult subject. She was diagnosed with cancer in her brain. And last week she passed away. She battled really hard, and was just the epitome of a beautiful human being during all this. It's not fair. It's not fucking fair that this happened, and so we were, doing that stuff, and on top of everything going on at work, I just didn't have really, to be honest, the gumption to do the show last week at all. So I apologize for that. What we do have going on right now, if you guys have time to go check it out, I'm gonna link the GoFundMe in the description of the YouTube video, and it's also going to be on my website, and underlining on all my social media stuff. You'll be able to find it if you go to my profile, and or if you go to GoFundMe and search for Aria Agnello, A-R-I-A. Agnello is spelled A-G-N-E-L-L-O. You'll probably find her. It's so that her parents don't know I'm doing the GoFundMe thing. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could contribute funeral costs. She was in the hospital for a year. So you could imagine how much all this shit costs. It's totally unfair. And I'm just trying to do everything I can do to help. So, I'll link to the GoFundMe page. If you feel like donating, please do. Whatever you can give helps, clearly, obviously. So pray for their family at the very least. Pray for their family, and just keep these kind of people, keep these people in your mind, and just send some positive vibes their way. I'm not super religious personally, but this is shitty. Okay. So Aria is her name. So if you go to GoFundMe, search for Aria, A-R-I-A, and I'll pop a picture on the YouTube. I'll do a description, all that stuff. Give what you can. We're trying to help them out as much as possible, and it would be great to get some input from you guys. All right. So moving on to not horrible things. Less horrible things. Monster break. I gotta shake that off a little bit. All right. We're ready to go. Okay, so since I missed a week, and the week that I missed was the fucking NFL draft, I don't know. It's really hard. My opinion of the draft is, one that's really, really fucking. You just don't know. You just don't know. And the hard part about all this shit is that, yeah, you can grade the decisions made by the teams and the management of those teams, and you can say this was a good decision based on what we know. Now that's the most logical thing if you want to grade. If you want to grade somebody, right? You don't grade based on the talent that they got because you have no fucking clue what talent they did or didn't get. What you can do is grade them based on the decisions that they made given the current information. And this is hard because later on down the road, you're most likely going to be wrong about 80% of this shit. Most people don't last that long in the NFL, right? So it's just one of those things where it's real difficult. I'm just going to give you the super highs and the super lows. And I think all the shit in the middle is just going to wash out in the end. The top 3 teams, I think, in this draft, the teams that I thought did the best were the Browns because they got 3 players in round 1. No brainer. And they got their a quarterback to challenge whoever they fucking got this year there in round 2. So they got like 10 players, and then they got an extra pick for next year. So they did really good. That move from 12 so the Texans could come up and get Deshaun Watson was genius. I think it was a great decision by the Cleveland Browns staff, but it's now incumbent upon them to train and teach and coach those guys to where they're actually viable for the NFL, which is the downfall of them. So we're talking about, Hugh is a quarterback guy, and that's why they brought him in, and they've got coaches and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. We'll see where it comes out on the field. Hopefully, and I hope, the Browns have a decent team this year, right? It sucks to just not have anybody good on the Browns because, I play fantasy football. I want a little bit of everybody on all the teams, just from a personal standpoint, right? The Packers did a really good job. They were at the bottom of the first round. They traded out of the first round and still got Kevin King, who was the best cornerback on the board. And they also got Josh Jones. So they should have an upgrade in their secondary pretty quickly. And they got good guys, right? So they also got Jamal Williams and Devontae Mades. So that'll help them in their backfield. They did a really good job with this draft, and the Packers are just known for drafting well and doing good things via the draft. The third one's pretty obvious. I'm going to say the San Francisco 49ers, right? So that was me leading a chorus. I don't know. They traded out of the second pick to give up Mitch Trubisky to the fucking Bears, which was terrible by the Bears' part, right? If you haven't seen that video, that kid freaking out, it's fucking amazing, and he's not freaking out for no reason. It's a bad pick. I don't think anybody should freak out that bad over a fucking football team, but whatever. So the 49ers got Solomon Thomas, who is going to be a game changer on the defensive line, and they got Reuben Foster. The problem about Reuben Foster right now, from what I heard this morning, is that he needed shoulder surgery. It did not take, so the potential is that he will miss the entire rookie season. So if you weren't listening this morning or paying attention, that's pretty new information. Reuben Foster may miss his entire rookie season because his shoulder surgery was not a success. So we'll see. They had a pretty good draft. The Bears don't know what they were fucking thinking. This is the boo-boo side, all right. So worst decisions ever. The Bears basically gave up a shitload of picks for a question mark. I don't understand how you do that. They got Eddie Jackson, so we'll see we'll see how he turns out, but I don't understand what they did there. Nobody does. So, yeah, it's just interesting. They could have got Patrick Mahomes and been way better off. But anyway, next shitty Los Angeles Rams, which is still weird to say. They didn't have a first round pick, and then they got a tight end. I don't understand what they're doing. Gerald Everett is good, but they could have waited. And they've got another slot receiver when they had a lot of Cooper Kupp or whatever his fucking sounds like a cartoon character's name, but I don't understand what they were thinking there. They got a shitload of those type of receivers. They need a lot of other stuff. They need offensive line. They need defense. I don't understand where they're going with that. And then the other one, I don't know. I thought the Giants really kind of fucked up on this one. They definitely needed a tight end. They definitely needed it, and he is definitely a special dude. They needed a running back, and there was plenty on the board. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I don't think Eli needed another fucking target there. But it couldn't hurt if you don't have a running game. And they also, I think they could have done better to get some offensive line. And then in one notable, because I'm clearly a fucking diehard Cowboys fan, right? So I'm not really a diehard. Well, I don't know if I'm a diehard fan or not. I'm a big fan. I watch all the games and I get upset when they lose. So there you go. They did okay. I'm not super stoked, right? They didn't make any big moves. They can get their war daddy. And I don't know what they plan on doing about the defense because they did not add enough solid pieces to truly make a difference. Yeah, you've got two high, a second round and a third round cornerback and a D lineman out of the draft. But those guys aren't guarantees. You need some, and I'm hoping they make some free agency moves after the UFA is done, and so undrafted free agency. Sorry, after the undrafted free agency is done, hopefully they can get some veteran presence in there. They need a safety desperately. I don't know. They need a lot of shit. They got a lot of holes on that defensive side, so. We'll see. I'm not going to go through them all because it'll just bore the fuck out of you, and there's a lot better news going on right now, considering the draft's already a week old and nobody gives a shit about it anymore. Hey! All right. NFL's done for the next month or two. What the hell is going on in the NBA? All these fucking fights and all this bullshit, all this, I don't understand it. I don't get this. So last night, for example. All right, so let's cover the first round really quick. Nothing happened that we didn't expect to happen, truly, except that the Clippers didn't beat the Jazz in the first round. Blake Griffin's out with a hurt toe. What do you do as a Clipper organization? For me, if I'm a Clippers fan, break it all fucking down. You clearly can't win with these pieces, right? You've got a good coach in Doc Rivers. You've got some great pieces. You got Chris Paul, who's a Hall of Famer. You got Blake Griffin. You got DeAndre Jordan. You got a lot of great pieces, but it's just not coming together. It's not working for whatever reason, right? You trade out pieces. You got the Reddicks. You got the Jamal Crawfords. A couple years ago, you had the Matt Barneses. You've been switching out these little pieces. You got the Austin Rivers, but it hasn't ever come together past the first round. You've never gotten there. It's time to completely shift away from these things that you've built around and start rebuilding that foundation with new players. It's just time, right? So Josh Reddick's definitely not coming back. We'll see how many of the other ones come back because a lot of them are on their last year of their deal. And, they probably all want to stay in L.A. Maybe they go, you may see Blake Griffin in a fucking Laker uniform. It might make sense for him to go home back to Oklahoma City with fucking Westbrook. That'd be a great team, right? So you just don't know what's going to happen with the Clippers. But if I had my way, I'd probably break that sucker down. And is it worth re-signing all these guys to super max deals, which is the dumbest fucking... This is a max deal. And then this is a super max deal. And then what's fucking next? Super duper? This is a super duper max deal. This is a mega awesome meta deal. Like, let's just call it a max deal because it's the maximum of what they get. It's not a super max deal. It's just a max deal. There's no such thing as a super max deal. You bunch of fucks. I fucking hate shit like that. Sorry. This stupid bullshit, and the more I become critical of the way this shit folds out on ESPN, the more I start to notice how terrible these people are. Oh, it's just super max deal? What the fuck? What is that? So the first game of the second round, the Rockets and the Spurs. The Rockets destroy the Spurs. Kawhi's invisible. LaMarcus Aldridge is typically invisible, right? So, and Aldridge tends to disappear in the playoffs. We know that, but Kawhi doesn't, right? So that's different. And then the Spurs turn around and lay out the Rockets just like they did to them in the first game. So we'll see how it starts to fade. And Harden was nowhere to be found in the second game. So we'll see how it all plays out. The Cavs are doing what the Cavs do. The Warriors are doing what the Warriors do. That's not any big deal. I guess the most interesting series is the Boston-Washington series. Washington won last night, but we'll see how these suspensions kind of roll out. There was freaking 8 technical fouls last night, and it's just insane that this got to this level. Sit them on the fucking bench and make them wait. I don't know. They're just talking shit to each other because the game is just out of reach, and I don't know. It was just necessary for these guys to get off of the court because the Celtics were getting blown out, and it was just everybody was pissed off at each other. It's the same thing that happened the game before, and so now everybody's peaked up and ready to kick somebody out, and here you are. It's just been drama in this series, and we'll see how it plays out. Fucking Isaiah Thomas can't keep his fucking teeth in his head. He keeps losing fucking teeth. He lost more teeth yesterday in the second half. Couldn't play the second half because his teeth was fucking falling out of his head. Listen, I don't have great teeth, but they fucking stay in my head. I know. Fuck. That sucks. So he spent 6 hours in the hospital Monday, played the game Sunday, played the game, spent 4 hours in the hospital before the game, scored 53 points. Don't know what he did day before yesterday, and then he plays this game and gets his teeth knocked out again. I mean, shit. You need to wear a football helmet. You need to do something, man. You need to wear a fucking brace or some sort of guard or protection around your mouth. It's just ridiculous. So that screen was super fucking hard. I really don't think it was. I don't know. Everybody was just super fucking pissed off. I don't think it's super big news. I just think, when you post up somebody that hard, or not post up, when you screen somebody that hard, you can't be surprised when the guy gets pissed off, especially if he's losing by 20 points. And the issue is that the ref stepped in and was like, dude, stop. And the guy didn't stop, and he pushed him, and the ref was right there. So the ref took a little bit of the hit. So we'll see how that plays out. It was just a crazy game. I don't see it. Another fucking... This is another reason. Yet another reason why the NBA, not the NBA, ESPN has fired a fucking shitload of their employees, laid off, whatever. Two of those reasons are Michael Smith and Jemele Hill, by the way. If you don't think that they're involved at all, you're naive. I know I have a lot of listeners that are overseas and don't listen to or don't watch American ESPN, and good for you. Feel blessed that you don't have to watch this garbage, and it's not the number one monopoly fucking over your sports. So, and I hope it never gets over there if it's not already. So, anyway, this fucking they're covering this shoe that LeVar Ball has put out under the Big Baller brand. It's called the Zoe 2, I guess, with a pair of slips, which I don't understand the fucking slips thing at all. And like they're like sandals, there's sandals with just the band over it so your foot fits in here, and there's no thing in the middle with your toes to grab onto. It's just the slip that covers over, and you just walk around and whatever, right? It just basically keeps your socks clean. That's what it's there for, right? So, which is fine, I guess. And then the main shoe is $500 for a guy who's never played in the league. I don't understand this. This is a fucking... LeVar Ball tweets, Big Ballers loose. If you can't afford the ZO2s, you're not a big baller. Yeah, I guess I'm not a big baller, because even if I could afford those, I would never fucking buy them. They're a rip-off. I've got a buddy who's a sneakerhead who says they're a rip-off of Kobe's Adidas or something like that. I can't even keep track of the shit he says, much less all this bullshit. The point is that if you go fucking watch ESPN SportsCenter 6, whatever the fuck it's called, with Michael Smith and Jemele Hill, please go jump off a fucking cliff if you watch this shit. If you sincerely fucking sit down and go, can't wait for the show to start, fucking die. I cannot stand these people. They are bigoted, racist fucking haters, and they're bad at their jobs, and the only reason why they keep their jobs is because all of those other people got fucking laid off, and these guys get $1 million a year in the meantime, and good reporters, journalists who are in fucking dugouts and fucking locker rooms actually doing the sports stories get their fucking pink slips. It's maddening. And these guys, these fucking assholes who do no research of their own, get fucking millions of dollars. I don't understand it. ESPN doesn't give a fuck about the people doing the hard work. And clearly, they let off 100 fucking people. Great reporters. Great journalists. These two assholes on this show are fuckheads. Talking about on Twitter how Jimi Hendrix's band is white. Who gives a fuck? Oh, it's just insane to me. Let me fucking list for you Jason Stark, 17 years covering baseball. One of the best baseball writers in existence. Ed Werder, who's been covering the NFL for 17 years as well. Done. These are fucking staples. Here's a running list. This is great. I'm gonna put this list on the website. So the job cuts, ESPN. Sorry, I'm trying to read this for you guys. The job cuts and ESPN decision as it repositions itself for the future and not a mandate from parent company Disney were to affect roughly 100 out of 1,000 so-called front-facing employees at ESPN. The reason why they're doing this is because they are starting to, and I talked about this a month ago, and I heard that Ben Shapiro does this. Newsflash, fucking people, I am not for this stupid move to go towards politics. If you don't agree with the things that I say on this show, fine, don't fucking listen. Right? That's just it. Okay? If you I'm mostly if you were to talk to me, you would interpret that I'm pretty conservative. Okay? Which is fine. I have a lot of progressive views, but I have a lot of conservative views. And I have some views that would actually be more radical than most progressives. So if you want to sit down and have that chat with me, feel free to fucking hit me up and we will talk if you want to know more. But the problem is that they are getting all the people that show a little bit of conservatism and go out, and they're getting rid of those people because they want to, they're owned by fucking Disney and ABC, and they're pushing this liberal fucking bullshit, and they're trying to capitalize on the division that's happening in America between the races, only created by the media itself. So they're trying to wedge themselves deeper between all of these people who are good people, instead of just reporting on the fucking things that are happening and letting us, I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. Bob Lay, Adam Kaplan, Andrew Brandt. This website's not responding to me at all. I'm just trying to scroll fucking down and it's not doing anything. Meanwhile, Michael Smith and Jemele Hill keep their jobs. What does that fucking tell you? What I mean, Mark Stein. Mark fucking Stein. These guys are huge. Chad Ford. I don't know who the fucking guy is. Mark Stein's been covering fucking basketball. I don't understand. Britt McHenry, don't give a fuck about you. Nobody knows who you are. Ed Werder. Jason Stark. I can't believe they fucking fired Jason Stark. That guy is... If you don't know who Jason Stark is and you like baseball, go look up Jason Stark. That dude is a baseball wizard. He gets it. Fired Trent Dilfer. And they're all classy, right? They're like laid off by ESPN. I'm really sad. Super grateful. We'll see what's next. Most of them are like that. Jerry Lee Punch, fucking 30 years covering racing. They fired the entire hockey squad. Darren Hayes. Marisol Castro, Jamie Sire, Chris Hassel. Jay Crawford, Calvin Watkins, Justin Verrier. This list of people is some of the strongest people they fucking had. And I mean, when you get down into it, you know, a lot of these guys, you probably don't know who they are, but you've read a lot of their content. Max Olson. You've read a lot of their content and they read it on the, this is one of those things where you see the little paragraph and it's got their face underneath it and it says Derek Tyson, and you don't really pay attention, but these guys are in the fucking trenches working their ass off. And they keep guys like Mel Kiper, who does nothing but just maybe think about, this guy's real good. He's going to go here in the draft. And then he charges you for telling you that this guy's going to be a number 26 pick. That's the whole fucking thing. This is a massacre of the worst fucking type in this situation. I just they're breaking up Mike and Mike. They're ruining everything that was great about ESPN. And what now? It's fucking sad to me. There's and they're moving to, if you go to the fucking ESPN website, what's at the top? What's at the top of the fucking bullshit? They've got their advertisements and they've got Sports Center 6. And on the left, where they're different ESPN sites, the two top ones are 538, a political website, and The Undefeated, which is a bullshit racist organization. If you click on The Undefeated, it says, we cover sports and culture. It's all black people. It's not racism. It's just about black people. Then say it's about black. It's not about culture. It's about black culture. That's fine. And celebrate your fucking culture. I celebrate mine every fucking day. But don't try to hide it and be this person who's better than everybody fucking else because you're taking advantage of a situation. Say who you are. You're too much of a coward, a nutless fucking piece of shit that can't come out and say, we're black and we're proud, so we're going to have this fucking website for black people. BET does it. They have a whole channel just for black people. Nobody has an issue with it. Great. Celebrate yourself. You should. You have every reason to. Fuck. Why does it have to be that, well, we're celebrating this, so you're not going to understand. You're just not going to understand. So now you're fucking better than me? Now people that aren't a part of that fucking club aren't worthy of your bullshit? Fuck you. Michael Smith and Jemele Hill. Fuck both of you. And if Jemele Hill's just some fucking idiot sitting next to you, you're fucking at least guilty of letting it fucking happen. But I know you're not. You're just as bad, and you're just as ill-informed. It just gets me fucking just angry that this can go on and everything's okay. You all do yourselves many favors by stopping your giving any attention to ESPN at all. There are a lot of private websites. I say private. ESPN's not public. There are a lot of individual websites, smaller sites that have great information, that do a lot of good things. A lot of them are specific to the sport that they cover because they just want to cover one thing. They want to stay in their little lane. Great. But start rewarding people for the good hard work that they do and stop listening to this bullshit. None of them know what the fuck they're talking about. Half the show of SportsCenter 6, I've watched enough clips of it. I haven't watched a full show. I can't stand it. All they do is talk shit about Donald Trump. That's all they fucking do. They just talk shit about Donald Trump and how terrible he is. I'm not saying he's not terrible, okay? I'm not saying he's not an idiot. But that's not your fucking job. I want to know about sports, and I definitely don't want to know about LeVar Ball's shoes. They spent 2 entire segments talking about fucking LeVar Ball. And they were told, this guy's fucking crazy. He's a nut. And you're giving him fucking airtime. The easiest way to get people like this to go away is to ignore them. Stop paying attention to these fucking people. It's the Cash Me Outside girl on Instagram who's a fucking millionaire for a stupid video. She's like 15 years old. She has a bodyguard because she said something stupid on the internet. Wake the fuck up. All right, baseball. Manny Machado versus the Boston Red Sox. Ding, ding, ding. Another fucking fight. First off, let me talk about, before we get into the Manny Machado thing, let's talk about racism in fuck, dude. Let's talk about this, because it actually happened at a stadium. So here's what happened. Adam Jones plays in the outfield. Some fucking idiot goes up and starts talking shit to Adam Jones, calls him the N-word, throws some peanuts at him, or a bag of peanuts at him. Whoever was around that guy, there is an anonymous number at every fucking stadium that you can text. You text your seat number, or you can just say, security, I need help, or whatever. And security shows up, and you go, look at that fucking guy over there. He called that dude the N-word and fucking started throwing peanuts at the fucking baseball player. You gotta do shit like this. We cannot allow these idiots to make the rest of people look bad. And that's exactly what happened, right? It kind of got squashed, but okay, so the first game of the series, this incident happened. Adam Jones came out, and rightfully so, was upset. I would have been upset if it would have happened to me, right? There's no reason for him. I mean, I don't blame Adam Jones at all. He was clearly upset. I would have been upset. It's a natural response. Somebody was treating him like not a human, and that's not right. So they kicked him out of the Red Sox kicked him out of the stadium. Good luck fucking enforcing any of that shit. I don't know how you do it, right? Whatever. But I'm gonna let them worry about that. It's not my fucking job. But they also, the next night, they give him a big standing ovation. This is why the government. I'm laughing because here I am talking about this shit. I'm just a small show, guys, and I don't really hold myself to any standards. My job is to fucking tell you what's going on. But I want to talk about the sports. That's why I started this fucking podcast, right? This is part of sports, okay? But I'm not going to get into the whole political thing with you guys. What I'm going to do is say, that guy is an asshole. The Red Sox fans retaliated in the right way, even though they took too long to do it. They should have got that guy out immediately. If they didn't, it's terrible. if that guy didn't get his ass whooped immediately, he should have, right? And that's as far as it goes. There's some political implications there. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fucking do it. Because that's not why you listen to this fucking show. I don't know why you listen to this show. You let me know. I have not heard from one fucking listener. You guys let me know. Send me a fucking tweet, right? At Rated R Sports Pod. I'm easy to find. Just fucking Google it, man. Let me know. What do you want to fucking hear? If you want to hear me rant and rave and scream and holler about the stupid politics of this bullshit, I will. But I don't think that's what you want. You listen to it to learn about sports and what I think about fucking just shit in general, right? So, there you go. That guy sucks. He should have got his ass whooped if he didn't. And the Red Sox fans came back and gave him a standing ovation. And we need to prevent that kind of shit from happening again. It's wrong. Okay. There it is. So, the other story that's going on during this series, if there wasn't one enough just in that, beanballs. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about beanballs? Because it's an interesting thing, you know. So in baseball, the unwritten rule is you bean a couple of my guys, expect a couple of your guys to get beaned. That's been the thing. But now we're throwing 100 miles an hour, and Manny Machado damn near took one to the fucking head, and it started a fight. That's been the way baseball has been forever. Not saying that's good or bad. I'm saying that's the way it has been. Roger Clemens used to pitch in Houston, and that was one of his biggest draws. Is he going to bean somebody? Is there going to be a fucking fight? And Roger Clemens is like 6'5", 240 fucking pounds. That dude's not going down easy, so you better bring that bat when you fucking charge that mound, son. We'll see. We'll see what fucking happens, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because while I love baseball, I grew up playing and watching baseball. It's my favorite sport. I can ingest baseball all year long, watch every fucking game, and be completely content. I volunteered or applied to be on that. Remember they had the baseball cave or whatever it was, where you watched all the games all the time for like the entire summer? I tried to get into that motherfucker like a million times, as long as they were doing it. So, I mean, I would love that so much. It would have been great, right? So, I don't know. They were talking about on Mike and Mike, that Manny Machado took a long stroll around the bases. It took him like 30 seconds or so. I didn't think it was that bad. He kind of milked it a little bit. He hit a fucking moonshot. It was like 460 feet. It was huge. Enjoy it. I don't mind that. The buzzing thing, I truly don't believe that somebody was aiming for the guy's head. I think he was just trying to bean him. But that brings up the issue, right? These guys, and I heard this on the radio, they don't practice beaning people. So if you're trying to bean a guy and you hit him in the noggin and you knock his ass out and give him a concussion, that should be seen as a possibility. A pretty good one, right? If you throw that shit hard, it might flip up on you. It might float because you're throwing it hard. I know you're trying to bean him in the butt or the side or whatever, but it's not a good practice. It's not something that you want to do. And do I think the guy should have got thrown out for throwing the 77-mile-an-hour curveball? No. He got immediately ejected because of the previous game, right? So, game 2, two of the Boston guys got beaned, so they threw at the head of Manny Machado, who started talking shit, and that's why you'll see the video of the beep, 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 20-something fucking F-bombs, right? Which is funny to me, right? So, I throw F-bombs all the time. I love them. So, fine, dandy, wonderful. And then the next one that comes out, he beans the guy on accident. I don't know. Immediately ejected in Game 3 the first time it happened. Usually you get a warning. Don't do that. And then you get ejected. Usually it takes 2 to 3 batters to get ejected from a game for a pitcher. If it's clear intent, then they will eject you. In this situation, they were just ready to do it, right? The trigger had been halfway pulled already, so they were ready for the next one, and as soon as he beamed that guy, the guy was out. It sucks for the Orioles because now they've got to worry about their rotation and their bullpen and how many innings they're putting on them for the next few days. But it's I can't really blame the umpire for doing it either, right? So you got to keep yourself out of those kinds of situations. It's unfortunate when your players get beaned, but you cannot respond. It's something that I don't know if you can legislate that into baseball. That's the hard part. These guys have been playing baseball their whole lives, and they've been playing it that one way. I don't know if you can legislate that like you can in the NFL. They've done a really good job in the NFL and NBA of keeping that to a minimum, even though it still happens, or at least putting some rules around it, right? Not really preventing it or deterring any action, but at least setting out some guidelines and coming in really swiftly, similar like with this case on the Boston-Washington game. They're going to make their decision within the next 2 days before the game starts, before Game 4 starts on Sunday. They're going to make that decision, and those 2 guys may be suspended, or one of them might be suspended for that game. It's going to happen that fast, but in baseball, it doesn't happen that fast, and there's not a lot of rules around it. So they bring it up to the commissioner, and they have a meeting about it, so it takes longer, right? There's no set guideline. So we'll see what happens in that. So Harper's out with a groin injury. That's crazy. He's had a great season. We'll see if that goes down. My fantasy team, those bunch of guys. So I've got good news and bad news about my fantasy team. Let's pull it up real quick. So my current baseball fantasy team, I believe I'm winning this week. I definitely won last week. Yay, right? Won 7-3 last week. I'm on pace to win 7-3 this week. We'll see what happens. The best thing I did is I got Aaron Judge in free agency after the draft was over, which was amazing. And I just picked up Alex Avila, which I'm super excited about watching him play Oakland tonight because he's going to kill it. So that'll be fun. Speaking of that, I got to move some people around here. But anywho, Noah Syndergaard was my number 1 pitcher, as you guys know. And that's a bad situation. So let's talk about that. What the fuck were the Mets doing? What's going on in New York? I don't understand. You let your number 1 pitcher make his own decisions like this. Oh, I played catch with the catcher. I feel pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pitch. No. We own you. We pay your fucking salary, and if we don't win, we're all going to get fired. Go get your goddamn MRI. Now you made it worse because you tried to pitch. You gave up 5 runs in an inning in a third, and you left the field grasping your shoulder, and you've got a back strain or a lat muscle strain. Could be torn. Now you fucked yourself for potentially the entire season. Because you think you're fucking Thor in reality. Well, you're not. You're a human. You're big and blonde. That's as far as it fucking goes. Shit. Just fucking take care of yourself. In the Mets organization, what the fuck? Why would you be okay with this? You can't scratch him? Really? You're so desperate for a fucking win that you're going to mortgage your best pitcher's fucking future and his whole season in the short term on one fucking game? You need to do a healthy scratch and scratch him until he agrees to do the fucking MRI because you're his goddamn boss. Are you kidding? Ridiculous. I'm mostly mad because he's in my fucking fantasy team. Oh, baby. Anywho, yeah, that'll be it for the week. I know that I skipped last week, but you guys know that. If you, once again, I'm gonna re-go over this. If you would like to donate to Aria's parents, if you weren't paying attention in the beginning of the show, I don't want to lose it again. Aria is our friend's daughter who was 2 years old, who passed away last week after her battle with cancer. And I have started a GoFundMe and would like to help them out with some of their medical bills and stuff. Go to the GoFundMe website and search for Aria. I will put the link up on the website and on the YouTube channel, on my Facebook page, on my Twitter account at Rated R Sports Pod on Twitter, Rated R Sports on Facebook, Rated R Sports on Instagram, Rated R Sports on YouTube, all that shit. Please do what you can to give, and if you can't give anything, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. It's a terrible situation. There is nothing worse than losing your children. If my daughter or son passed away, I would be devastated. I don't know if I would even wake up in the morning. I don't know what I would do without every member of my family. I don't know what I would do. So, that being said, you guys have a great week. Thanks so much for listening and being a part of the show. I really appreciate you guys sticking in there and hanging with me for this really rough time. And you guys have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time.
Hoo-yah! Woo-yah!